accident, you need a lawyer, and you deserve an advocate. Because every accident has a ripple effect. It affects your time, your health, your ability to make money, everything. That's where the advocates can help. Speaking with an attorney is simple and 100% free. We're available 24/7 for your convenience, and we'll take on the claims process so you can rest easy. Because you're not just a client to us, you're a person, and you deserve the best help you can get. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show live on Wednesday, February 26, 2025. As always, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. You never reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates. It's what we love so much about our partners there. They care about you because they know what it's like when you've been in an accident. It's one of the worst days of your life. That's why they give you clear, risk-free advice 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Boy, let's stretch our legs a little bit later in the day, friends. A pleasure to be with you. Let's get right to work because we see so many of you here to talk college football. And as usual, we have another story in the college football pipeline. And we've talked about this a lot on the show. We've had a lot of reporting on this. Again, I would remind you how stupid I am. I don't know anything. We don't have any sources. It's just what we do on the program. According to now everybody, the Big Ten and the SEC, Greg Sankey, Tony Petitti, the folks who actually control the college football playoff, want a 14-team playoff. 16 is highly unlikely, as we have told you on the show. Our sources have repeatedly said 14 is the number that Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti would ideally like. I don't even know that anybody else is going to argue about 14 versus 16. But there is one huge sticking point that we have talked about for weeks on this show, dating back to what happened in the college football playoff, where teams like Boise State, Arizona State got a bye. Meanwhile, Ohio State played one of the most difficult stretches leading to a national championship. In my opinion, the most difficult run to a college football playoff national championship or any other kind that we've ever seen. Well, you knew that was going to come to an end. But what's the sticking point? The sticking point is the elimination of the bye weeks for conference champions. Why is that so significant? Because it's a $4 million payday. If you earn a bye, you go right to the quarters. It opens you up to an $8 million payday. And Jake, I don't think conferences like the Big 12 and the ACC are going to let that go very easily.
Not at all. And I think, going to 14 teams in the college football playoff, is not something that has to do anything with more access, right? Everyone wants to say, oh, well, Big 12 and the ACC are going to get more access. The G5 is going to get more access. And that's why, we need to go to a 14-team playoff. And that's just not the case. The only reason that the 14-team playoff is even a conversation is because the SEC and the Big Ten want more teams and want more revenue, which, again, I'm not going to sit here and criticize them for. That's the nature of the business that they are in. But I think when you talk about actually getting this done, yeah, the ACC and the Big 12 are obviously not just going to sit here on the sideline and put up no fight and not get involved in this conversation and at least get something out of it. I think the trouble that these two conferences are going to have is, quite frankly, they just haven't been, super relevant or nearly as relevant as the SEC and the Big Ten have been in the college football playoff. Now, obviously, this year, the ACC had a little bit better of a year, right? You obviously had a little bit more representation than usual, but the fact that SMU was your representation for the most part is just not a great look. And so I sit here time and time again when we do the show, and I sit here and tell you guys the same thing over and over and over again. It is the SEC and it is the Big Ten controlling the conversation. And whether you like it or not, these two are going to make the final decision. And ultimately, whether Greg Sankey wants to say it or not, he's got a job to do, which is he needs to continue to push these two conferences forward, continue to keep them in the driver's seat, and continue to sort of, nudge the sport towards, inevitably going to the Super League that we've talked so much about. Because think about this. You get the 14-team playoff. You get this taken care of. These two conferences are going to dominate financially.
Guys,
we're one step forward. We're one step closer, man.
Jake just said nudge towards a Super League.
I mean,
well, I don't think
anybody's
getting nudged. I think they're getting yanked along with a flatbed tow truck.
Are we clear on that?
Is the way. So nudge is probably not the word that I would use, because, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We have some updates for you on the Super League story, but I think you're exactly right. Like, I think you're playing right now in the Big Ten, in the SEC swimming pool. And what you don't understand is you're in there with a bunch of gators and sharks. And at this point, you got to fight for your lives. My opinion on this is unchanged. If you are the Big 12 in the ACC, fight like it is the last day you're going to be alive to keep bye weeks for conference champions. It's the only guarantee that the Big 12 and the ACC, who should get multiple teams into the college football playoff if we go to 14, that's the only guarantee you have to get a payday. And I think when you look at this league, and I know you're tired of hearing me say this, but I'm going to say it again, you've got to raise the bar in this Big 12, in this ACC when it comes to college football. You can no longer have BYU and Colorado getting left on the side of the road, not getting in, for Arizona to get a bye week and lose that game, targeting or not. Excuse me very much. Targeting or not, you can't have them losing that game, right? Like, that was a costly loss for the Big 12, who is far behind the other three power conferences in revenue. Like, that is, and if you think about the money that we're talking about, that's a lot of money you lost right there. And I just can't even imagine it. And look at the start that we get with Calford gifting 20 Monty Show memberships. Let's go. Calford, hey,
nice work, bro.
Later in the day, Calford still shows up. And no, Darth Sankey did not approve.
Bro just rolled out Darth
Sankey. I am your father. He did not approve the time change. Rock and Rant, if they aren't taking comments, it's not live, even if it shows live. You guys, the way you know our show is live is the title here on YouTube. The title on YouTube does not say replay. If it says replay, that is a live stream replay.
Wow.
We are live. Yeah,
wow.
Rock and Rant, you take that back, sir.
Yeah.
You take that back.
Better check yourself, bro.
But my point in all of this with the 14 teams, our sources have told us for several weeks it's 14. The SEC and the Big Ten want 14, and the terrifying part of that is they each want 4 automatic qualifiers. And if you do some quick math on that, 4 and 4 is 8. Then you get 2 each in the Big 12 and the ACC. That gets you to 10 and then 12. You get 1 spot for the G5. That's 13. And then there's an at-large spot, which is 14. And that's where I look at somebody like, I don't know, Notre Dame, because Notre Dame's getting in. So what does that tell you?
Notre Dame, our mother.
The lion's share of the money is going to stay in the Big Ten and the SEC and with Notre Dame, right? Because that will remain unchanged. And I think when we start looking at these numbers right here, this is not going to change. I don't see any way, shape, or form that this right here changes. That all of a sudden the Big 12 and the ACC are going to make more money. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, I mean, the only way it happens is if they produce better football product. That's it.
And they keep the bye weeks.
Yeah.
Because that guarantees you at least one spot. And if there are, how many buys would you have at that point? I don't know.
Yeah, I also think when we talk about bye weeks, it needs to be said that going to 14 teams, 14 team playoff structure also changes how long you're running the college football playoff, obviously. So it's going to affect scheduling quite a bit. And so I think when people are asking, hey, well, why is it not going to 16? Well, because I just don't know that college football can handle a 16-team college football playoff scheduling wise. You already look at, the dead period between, that final week and then the national championship game. And then we have another dead period from the national championship game into Super Bowl. Like, I think that this past season, we kind of saw the awkwardness of that. And I haven't even brought up the absolute dumpster fire that is having a transfer portal window in December. And so So I think when you talk about the college football playoff, it's not just that the SEC and the Big Ten want to make more money, or I should say it's not just that they're going to make more money. It's more about like logistics and planning and what's best for TV partners.
Excuse me, stop the show.
What's happened?
There is a Pier 6 brawl in the gifting department.
What in the hell is going on?
So Calvert gave 20. TJ Beck, the Flying Oregonian. That's your new name because now I'm stuck on how scared I am to fly. Gave 50 Monty Show membership, which of course meant that Calvert and his Calamoni gave 50 more Monty Show membership. So of course the Flying Oregonian gave 50 more Monty Show memberships. You guys, if you're watching on Twitter,
you don't have a membership at this point. I don't know what you're
that's
doing,
a you
bro.
problem.
Like,
if you don't have
honestly,
a membership at this point, come on now. And I look
at this.
Ben Novak, Suck It Up
Ben.
Buttercut, Andrew Bennett, Gabriel, Eric, Chrissy Huey. You're all getting a hookup. Luis Oliviero, Neilio, Michael Peck. Let's go. Pick them up, baby. Let's go. We appreciate that very much, you guys. That really hit the like button. If you're watching on Twitter, we're about 500 viewers right now. If you're watching on Twitter, come over to YouTube and pick up some of the free Monty Show memberships. When you're a member of the show, it's $1.99 a month. And so what happens is all your comments get highlighted on our shows. Generally, we're going to read member comments first. Man, look at you guys go. Mike Smith says you have to, okay, wait, what now? You have to allow, you have to have it set up to allow gifts. Oh, to accept a gift. Yes, that's it. Did you get 50 more?
Bruh.
Oh, and then TJ Beck gave 50 more. Flying Oregonian. I like you guys. Keep fighting it out. We're happy. We're here for it. We're here for it in the background. You guys, amazing.
I mean, that must be 200 each. Is that not, or like 100 each?
Yeah, that's wild. It is absolutely. It's absolutely several hundred. So we appreciate that very much. Thank you guys. So pick them up. Pick them up. Be generous. John Emery picked his up. Jabba, no bargain. Nathan Roberson, Mark Ockwiri. Sorry if I got that wrong. Mark Ruckert. Mark Ruckert, where have you been? Let's go. Pick him up.
See, you got to enjoy the vibes of doing a little casual late show today, man.
That's
it's
right.
a rarity.
That's right. And it all worked out. It all worked out for the better. Field Crew Dirt Dr. Cheese is back. Let's go. Beck and Cal dropping bombs. Exactly right. I feel like we are in the club and it's raining.
Yes.
That's right, baby.
Yes.
Gabriel.
And Glory Holes.
Glory Holes in the club. It's not club, it's club, by the way. 270 gifts in total. What legends.
Dude,
you guys are
that's
amazing.
Ridiculous, bro.
You guys are amazing. Dev MC, good to see you. Mike Smith, 270 so far. Yes. Clyde says, I need a gift. You're very gifted. Whoa. Phenomenal Hebrew. Yo, can I get gifted one or do y'all hate me? I don't hate you, man. There's no hate. I missed the dreadlocks, though. You changed your, you got Marvin the Martian there. GBR says, I must be YouTube stupid.
Well,
Bruh.
But you are self-effacing, and we all appreciate an honest dude. So are you down for 14 teams?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, adding 2 more teams is fine. I think inevitably the lesson we learned was that, the conversation's not going to change. There's always going to be a team that's pissed off they didn't get in. There's always going to be that team that, should have got in and didn't get in. What I'm curious about more than just the 14-team model is the developments we get through this process about what the committee is going to value. Because obviously we've talked a lot about how, and you've heard Greg Sankey, Brett Yormark has said it. Gloria Navarez at one point had said it during her press conferences at the time. That these commissioners need to understand what the playoff committee is prioritizing. Yes. Is it straight to schedule? Is it just overall wins? Because again, we've talked so much about how, you had, with all due respect, you had teams in the college football playoff that were essentially frauds, and that got bore out when they played the better teams in the country. And so I'll be curious to see, what does the committee shift to? Is there a statement that's put out that says, hey, this is what the College Football Playoff Committee is going to be looking for and going to be prioritizing in 2025? Or is it just sort of a known fact amongst personnel that this is what you need to try to be doing?
Yeah, as you guys hit the like button, everybody who picked up a membership, you got to hit the like button. I think it is what we're going to be doing, because I also look at the story that we've been talking about and working on with this Super League, and I was really surprised by the reaction to the Super League story and the fact that so many people were so negative, saying that if there is in fact a Super League coming in the next several years, that they will not watch college football anymore. And the thing that I ask is, how does the changing face of college football impact you? I'm going to watch Notre Dame football, and I don't care what league they're in. I'm all about Notre Dame football. It is my DNA. I love it. I'm not any less passionate, as you found out during the college football playoff, and we all now know that truly Riley Leonard sucks, just like his mom said. Exactly. I love Notre Dame, but I love big football games. I love Ohio State, Michigan, BYU and Utah, USC and Notre Dame. Like, I love Notre Dame and Michigan. I want those big games. The Super League delivers that. And I personally, one of the things that I think is so interesting is so many people being hung up on this idea that kids should profit, or that kids should be making money, making millions of dollars. And I was really surprised with this story how many people brought up Cooper Flagg's name in a football conversation about how Cooper Flagg is not going to go to the NBA next year. He's going to go. But that potentially he would come back to Duke because Duke is Duke and he's making a crap ton of money. Why do we hate that for these kids? I'm stuck in this spot where I don't really understand why we have an axe to grind, or why we're upset that young people are profiting on their name, image, and likeness, and really, if we're being honest, their athletic ability. Why do we hate that so much? I won't ever understand why, in a country where we are supposedly built on wealth and opportunity, that when somebody realizes wealth through opportunity, we get all pissed off about it. I think if I were an 18-year-old kid and I had the ability to play football, basketball, whatever, and you were going to pay me millions of dollars, if you're Shedeur Sanders and you're driving around in a Lambo, if you're Carson Beck and your Ferrari's getting stolen, hey, why do we care? I don't care. I'm not upset you had a Ferrari or a Lambo. I'm not upset you're stupid and it got stolen. That's on you, dude. Why do I care that Cooper Flagg, in the comment section on my TikTok, if you go read the comments on my TikTok, there must be a dozen 20-something comments about how he's got a shoe deal and he's arrogant and he's why? Why does it mean that because New Balance saw a business opportunity in Cooper Flagg that he's arrogant and entitled?
Is that a real question?
I don't understand that at all. My friends, hear me. If you are rich and you are wealthy and you didn't murder somebody to get it, I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you.
Now,
man.
you need to keep donating 50 memberships at a time.
Damn right.
But we're not going to hate on you for being rich. You know?
Yeah. You know, if you want to give us the calimony, that's amazing.
I want more.
Right? Like, yeah, Georgia SRT getting sponsorship deals. In
with seatbelt companies.
And apparently with beer companies to go with that SRT. But you know, I'm not saying it makes you a responsible person, Mike Smith. I'm certainly not saying that. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to hate on a kid because he's got the opportunity to make money. And I don't understand why so many people are like, well, Monty, first of all, what's the rule on this show?
No, well, Monty's.
Well, Monty, they're getting an education. Isn't that enough? No, it's not enough. Because if it was, we wouldn't be here.
And again, you're making the assumption that dude is going to Duke for the education. I got news for you. He's not going to Duke for the education.
No.
That might be a nice secondary thing 20 years from now. He's going to Duke to be a one and done, a flash in the pan, have a huge year, posterize dudes on ESPN, and then go to the league. Like,
No, well, don't forget the sex part.
Yeah, like this is not hard to understand.
Too much.
He's going to let his Blue Devil out. We get it.
Hey, now. Probably too much, but I think it is. I just thought it was interesting. And if you're just tuning into the show, yesterday we had an exclusive that has clearly gone viral, that the Big Ten and the SEC have had discussions about forming a super league. And immediately people were like, well, what's going to happen to the NCAA? Nothing. The NCAA is not going anywhere. And to the jackwagons on Twitter who think that the universities that make up college football are not the NCAA and that the NCAA isn't made up of members, come on, man. It is so remarkable to me that people don't understand how the business of college athletics is run.
Yeah, they have no idea. They're completely uneducated.
The NCAA is an entity formed by and made up of its member institutions. Now, do they have administrators? And yes. But when you start looking at what the National Collegiate Athletic Association is, it's a nonprofit organization that regulates student athletics amongst 1,100 schools in the United States. And I think there's one in Canada too. Right. And I just want to point to people that the NCAA was a single division for all schools. That means the universities, those people, they all wrote the rules. They all wrote the charter. They all wrote the Constitution that still pretty much to this day regulates the NCAA. And for all the people saying that, well, the NCAA doesn't make money on football. Yeah, it does. Who do you think controls the NCAA? The universities. They're part and parcel of each other. They're not mutually exclusive. So we can argue semantics, but here's the part that you can't argue. That the Big Ten and the SEC have a plan in place where their goal is to take the NCAA out of college football. And what that means is not take colleges out of college football. What that means is create a new entity whereby they play by a different set of rules, especially that govern economics. And I think this is a really important part. I was talking to somebody about this today. The economic structure that is the NCAA does not work because the economics have outgrown that structure in football. So what the Big Ten and the SEC are talking about is creating a new entity, call it a super league, call it whatever you want. They're talking about creating a new entity where they would take basically every team in the Big Ten, every team in the SEC, and then a large variety of teams in the Big 12 and the ACC, and they would put them into this super league. And there would be financial obligations. There would be, hey, you have to have one of the things I was talking to an NCAA, accredited university. One of the things I was talking to an athletic director about was, do you have to today have a certain amount of liquidity in your athletic department? And the answer is no, you don't. And what situation did he directly point me to? Well, look what happened at Arizona.
Cashless.
Because how was Arizona paying for their athletics in the late part of the pandemic? Out of their daily cash for the university, which is where the hundreds, I think, what was it, $240 million shortfall came from.
Yeah.
So you don't. And I think that's a big part of why people were so upset about what happened, because it was so shocking.
Yeah, I think that, the part of what's going on in college football specifically is people are trying to learn the best way to operate in the new age. And I think that sure, you may not have to have liquidity per se as a school, but we all know that you for sure have to have a donor base, let's say, that's strong and willing. And you have to have, in my opinion, you have to have administrators that are new age thinkers that understand what it's going to take to win. Because if you're stuck in like if your administrators are, still focused on, what the BCS era was like, let's say, or like, if they are of that age where that was kind of their prime and now they're older and they don't understand the new age in college football, you got to change that, unfortunately. And that's, I think that's what's going on right now.
All right. Phenomenal Hebrew says, I'm still trying to figure out how the Nittany Lions lost to the handicap Leonard. Well, because your quarterback is not more able-bodied than the handicap Leonard.
It is what it is.
And Phenomenal, how many times did I warn you guys about Drew Aller?
Well, he's going number 1 overall. So,
and what happened? Yeah, he's not. And he's not that guy. Drew Aller's not that guy, man. He's not that guy. Alex says exactly. Administration, coaches, everyone but the players been making millions off of kids' backs forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, now we want to vilify guys like Cooper Flagg for doing his thing.
Envy, one of the 7 deadly sins. There you go, Conundrum. Jay, I almost said good morning. Good afternoon, Jay McClanahan. Hey, if I was a kid and could make millions, sign me up for that.
Why would you not?
Why would you not? I totally agree. Ooh, Gumby, go easy with the emojis. The YouTube police are after you. Big Papa War Machine, my boss is an old head that hates players getting paid. Of course, he's a Texas fan who never shuts up about how good they are. Well, War Machine, they're back. Texas is
you're so fucked.
They're honestly,
they're back.
Bro. Dude's like 80 years old, salting his McGriddle, telling you how kids shouldn't get paid and that Texas is back, dude. I mean, come on, bro.
What kind of sadist?
Come on, bro.
What kind of absolute Satan worshiper pours salt on a McGriddle?
Smiles and glory.
Oh, my God. I cannot wait to talk about the Dallas Cowboys in a while. Monty. Daniel Dixon, I think it's players getting free education. Take that away and let them make millions.
Yeah.
Do you want them to pay for their education? But again, if we're talking about what can we take away from the student, what can we take away from the athlete? It's the BYU NIL story. Talking to people at BYU and athletes about, hey, what's going on at BYU? 5 people said to me so the story is that the NIL, the Royal Blue Collective at BYU, withheld payment allegedly from athletes until the portal closed in December. And a lot of people in Provo believe they did that because they wanted to make sure they had money for AJ DeBanza. A lot of people believe that. I think that's very interesting, but I can tell you, I talked to multiple former athletes and athletes currently at BYU, and what did all of them say? That they were promised money for performance, and they performed, and that money was not paid. Multiple people told me that. And is that true? I don't know, because the Royal Blue Collective doesn't want to talk. They didn't answer. We asked him, Jake asked him multiple times to come on the show. Didn't even answer. Reached out to the administrator at BYU in charge of NIL. Did not return an email.
Yeah.
So we're only getting one side of the story.
By the way, I just, while we're talking about reaching out to people, also direct message the guy. His social media is public. It's not a huge account, but if you do your homework, you can find his account. And I messaged him and I said, hey, people are saying these things, obviously, it's nothing is borne out in fact yet, but we wanted to, will you come on the show to talk about your side of it? And, again, I what's hard is like, obviously with the advent of the internet now, everything's on the internet, like everything. Oh. And I think what's difficult.
Do we bring that up?
No, I don't want to bring up the whole thing. My point just is like, when you talk about like, what the kids and the people and, all these folks that we've talked to, the prevailing messages you've just said, the prevailing sentiment is like, hey, promise payment for performance. I performed and the payment didn't show up. And then you go on the internet and you start reading about things and looking into people and understanding history. Like it's
who they are, what their track record is.
Yeah, like you like NIL is one of these deals where I very much feel like it's like a lot of other things in life, man. It is, if you're dealing with good people, typically good things are going to happen. If you're dealing with schemers and folks who do business a certain type of way, bad things are going to happen. And unfortunately, for the kid most times is not like a star player, right? Like we know just by sheer numbers and percentages that most kids are not going to play in the NFL. That's a widely accepted fact,
right?
And so if you're a kid that's not NFL caliber, but maybe you're, again, you're, I mean, whoever you want to point to, the great, you're the Tim Tebow of the world where you were a splash in the pan in the NFL, but really, you made hay in college. Like that kid nowadays, like should be getting paid a ton of money, but because of how NIL works right now, they're not. And
I want you to know that you're a bad person. I was just looking through our text messages to find a link that I sent you. Your gift game is so disrespectful on text. You're a bad person.
I know.
You make me feel anger.
F around and find out.
Certain types of way. But this Ming Kim is the guy's name. He is the administrator of the Royal Blue Collective, or the head of the Royal Blue Collective. He has got pockets deeper than the Grand Canyon, apparently.
Allegedly.
But he's got a checkered past. And we're in this place now where, why did we sue and why did NIL happen? And well, to protect the kid. And so I look at this situation in Provo and I say to myself, how did a guy with that background get into the NIL business? And how is that guy with that background on a Christian-based campus as a leader of men? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand it.
Yeah, I think that.
And of course my phone is blowing up now because I'm talking about that.
Well, look, man, so here's one thing I do want to say. Like, we didn't really plan to talk about this in depth today.
We did not.
But one thing I do want to say is that, a lot of people in Provo listen to this show. And what I have to say to those folks is that I feel that we have been pretty fair.
Bro, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I am getting crushed by a guy in Provo right now about this conversation. And I will read you this one text. I won't tell you who it's from. It's unfair that you guys are not giving us an opportunity to respond. Bro, we emailed multiple people at BYU. We emailed multiple people at BYU. Nobody responded. And I understand it. But you, of all people, and other people I know in Provo, we have a personal relationship. When you decide not to call back and you decide not to text back and you don't answer text messages, and then when we talk about it on the show and I say, hey, we reached out to multiple people at BYU, then you want to call me and say I'm being unfair?
I don't even feel
Come on
like,
now.
With all due,
Come on
like,
now.
Like I do want to say, like, with all due respect, like we're saying allegedly. Notice we're saying, hey, we've got one side of the story here, but we don't have your side of the story. And so part of this is like, bro, if you're, because we get this happens. This has happened several times.
This happens all the time.
Yeah. So this has happened several times in the show's history where, like we went through this with the Jazz. We went through this with several
Utah.
We went through this with Washington,
University of San Diego State. Big time San Diego State.
People get pissed and want to say it's unfair. And all I'm saying is, bro, I'm not saying it's fact that kids didn't get paid. What is fact at this stage in the conversation is we've heard from one side, multiple people on one side of the conversation.
Athletes that are currently at BYU.
And we haven't heard anything, not a sniff from the other side, and we're trying.
And the problem here is that the issue is you not calling or texting back pretty much tells me all I need to know. Because when you have an athlete who's the athlete of the week and you're texting me, hey, can you talk about this on your show? or when you call me and you say, hey, I want to make sure we're all clear on why this guy did this and made this decision. You can't no answer me and then get pissed when I talk about it.
And I don't even think we've said anything that's inflammatory,
no,
bro.
The tea that could be spilled about certain individuals involved in this NIL story is remarkable. But on this show, we haven't confirmed that with multiple sources. So I'm not going to do that. But what I'm telling you is there's a problem at BYU with NIL. And you can call or you cannot call, but at some point we're going to get the answers we're looking for from multiple people, because I can tell you we don't talk about anything on this show that doesn't have multiple sources attached to it. And multiple athletes, present and past at BYU, told us, hey, we don't feel like we can go on the record or we're going to lose our NIL deals. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. So, oh boy, Oak State, James. Holy cow, I had to work late. I get to listen to Monty on my way home. Yay! James, good to see you.
Yay!
Good to see you. Jeremiah Champion gifted a Monty Show membership.
Appreciate you, bro. And get his name right, okay?
Jeremiah Sullivan, JSC.
Yeah, JSC.
It's fair, a member for 22 months. Big fan of you guys. Thanks for coming on later. There was an
issue this morning.
There was an issue this morning that precluded us from doing the show.
And unfortunately, we weren't able to do the show this morning. So we're making great sacrifices and walking through the snow both ways to do the show this evening.
Uphill.
Uphill.
Charles Parker, just how shady is this guy's character or history? It's pretty shady. It's pretty shady. Conundrum, Royal Blue BS. Right now, I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered by the Royal Blue Collective.
I will say I don't disagree with what you said about Min. It is because of what BYU stands for as an institution. It is a little surprising that this was the guy you hired to lead the collective. And what you have to understand is that BYU went through a change in how the collective was administrated. So what I mean is when the collective was created, right, the genesis of the collective was, hey, we've got a group of administrators. And again, all this is publicly available online. You can go and see it. Just search Royal Blue Collective. I actually found the original website that they had in 2022, I believe it was. And it actually lists, I believe it was 8 administrators who managed the collective together when it was created.
Yeah.
And so, again, I don't know what sort of sparked the change of going from a group administering this to, hey, we're going to have one guy.
A full lack of success is what did that.
Okay.
A lack of funding, a lack of donations, and a lack of player NIL deals.
And so then there was this shift to having Min run the collective.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not going to run the guy through the mud. You can go and read it yourself. But just some interesting stuff happened. And I am surprised that that's the guy.
And not in a good way. Interesting stuff, not in a good way. So, listen, to all my friends in Provo, you are welcome on this show. If you want to have a conversation about it, call me back in 2.5 hours. And I'm happy to spend my free time talking to you about NIL at BYU, because I really would like to get some answers.
And by the way, I do want to say, just for the record, because people tend to lose their mind on this with us, like, nobody on this show has ever said that BYU is a shady university
or at fault
or like, we're not saying that, bro. What we're saying is that one side of the story is saying one thing, the other side has been a ghost town, and we're trying to figure out what the deal is.
That's exactly right. Gabriel, also, Monty, side note, that's a sci-fi type of phone alert sound.
Dude, it's so aggressive, bro.
It is my ringtone. And I had my ringtone on because I was waiting for a different phone call.
Bruh.
My bad. Pirate Mitch. BYU going to take an L this year when they play my Pirates in Greenville.
Yeah, we'll see.
BYU is going to be very good this year. It was involuntary tithing, Conundrum.
Bro.
Go easy. Yay. Exactly right, Gumby.
Mm-hmm.
That awkward guy. Are Mormons richer than Scientologists? Come on, man. Mormon folks have money.
It's not about them being Mormon, bro.
No, it's that they're really good business people. Good evening, James. Look, see, everybody's excited to see James. Charles Parker, this BYU story going to end up on Netflix. Full Swing's out on Netflix, by the way.
And
I did
the
watch.
Scotty Scheffler arrest is on Full Swing.
Yes, it is. I did watch the first episode of the new Suits series. I actually liked it. It got crushed by the critics, but how was it not going to get crushed?
It's
I
never
actually
gonna live
liked
up
it.
to the original. You got to understand that.
It never will. Jeremiah Champion. After a day of dealing with unruly teenagers, listening to you guys on my way home is the cherry on top.
Yay!
Well, I didn't mean to be so unruly. I appreciate that. Sal Capone. Don't, Sal.
Dude, I'm not here.
It's a little late at night for that.
Dude.
If you know, you know. What's good here to support, but leaving in 20 minutes for Arizona, Utah. That's a huge dude. That BYU Arizona story is absolutely still blazing with the F the Mormons chant.
Yeah, bro.
You guys need a win. Utah just fired their basketball coach. You don't beat Utah tonight, Sal. Just cash it in. Season's over. Paxton says, Monty, how the hell do you accept memberships? I do think you have to go into your settings and turn on the ability to receive gifts.
Yeah, where are the experts in the chat?
Yeah. That would be, that's what I would say. Ray C, no way. Started the morning listening to Monty show is better. Okay. Not saying we're switching. David, good morning, or good afternoon, David. So is the show still on in the morning live or moving to evenings permanently? We'll be back tomorrow morning talking about probably this exact same thing. Yes, it is just the morning show at this time. The night show is a one-off. Yes, it is. Thank you. Monty After Dark. Exactly right. I used to do a show in Sacramento called Monty Till Midnight. There you go. Welcome to the nightmare. Look at all the old heads. I love it. Jakey Two Shakes and Monty After Dark. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Strange Clouds. Any Luka talk yet? No.
But we need to get to that, dude.
Did you guys see his mom out in front of crypto? Dude, that lady is not aged a day past. My God.
And
no.
all of you Luka fat shaming people need to study his Ozempic usage over the All-Star break with how much weight he's lost, okay?
He does look remarkably thinner.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. Sergeant Morhew, good morning. What the hell happened today? Nothing good this morning, I can tell you that. Jaybird, click one of the green memberships, then click allow gifts. There you go. Okay, good.
A lot of clicking is happening.
Click away.
Yeah, can you click the like button while you're at it,
Yeah,
please?
clickety clack.
Yeah.
The awkward guy. So can we find out if James responded to Elon's email and how did you respond if you did? He said he did. He did. Mike Smith. Only first episode, but first one not as good as the original Suits so far. But I'm not going to compare it to the original Suits.
Yeah, the original Suits is goated, dude.
The plot twist, without spoilers, the plot twist in the first episode of the new Suits is really good. It's really, really good. 30 for 30. What if I told you BYU had pajama parties after football games? Uh-oh. Exactly right. Stadium Guy James, I am so glad BYU is in the Big 12. There are Mormons in all 50 states. What is the boner over Mormons in BYU? Is that what BYU will forever be known for?
Yeah.
Do you think it is?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
I think, dude, I think that people hear BYU and that's the first thing they think about.
Yeah. San Diego State Glenn, Luka is svelte and dangerous. Boy, did he look good. And we'll get into Luka next hour on the show. Trust me on that. Everybody's Uncle Monty when the lights go out. Hey now. Hey now. Mike Smith, West Virginia has Amish and Mennonites. Have not seen a Mormon church or Scientology scam center.
Wow, bro.
Wow. Wow. The Chad Carter, blink twice if there's a story about missed show this morning and just can't talk about it. Yes. Kyle Visser, Monty, please give Paxton a membership so the chat is not so cluttered. Wow. Paxton.
Again, we don't have control over memberships.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to tell. Jaybird is told, I think has said this several times. Click one of the green gifts at the top. That's how you get it. Exactly right. If you're watching on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, come on over to YouTube. Google search The Monty Show. First thing that comes up, the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up on the show. It really helps the channel grow. A couple more, because then I really do want to get in. Are you guys on board with a Super League? And do you think that a Super League destroys college football? Because I don't. I think we tend to get melodramatic about it. I don't believe. Do you think a Super League destroys college football?
Nah, I think it pushes college football to where it needs to go. I think that the struggles that college football has right now between the little guy and the big guy, make it difficult. And again, as soon as you bring that up, everyone goes right to, well, the little guy's getting screwed, and it's like, no, dude. Actually, if you look at the economics of this thing and you look at what it would do to the sport in terms of separating these two and the position it could potentially put the G5 in. I think it's actually a really positive movement, because I've been saying for a long time, man, for probably over a year now, that the G5 needs its own CFP model, like its own thing, and they should not be playing the Power Four. It's just not the same level of competition, and there's nothing wrong with that. It shouldn't be a thing where we're like, oh, well, you're saying the G5 are terrible. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the G5 works with less resources inherently, and that's why they shouldn't be on the same field. Yeah. And I understand right now why, when Gloria Nevarez came on the show, she talked about how all she cares about is having access. But I guarantee you, if Gloria Nevarez and other administrators at the G5 level had their own system, that's what they would care about. And that's right. What the Super League facilitates. So no, I don't think it's going to destroy college football. I actually think it's going to put college football in a much better spot.
It's fair. This is an interesting point, because a lot of people have said this. Super League absolutely ruins college sports unless you add the Big 12 and ACC schools. But who is saying that they wouldn't? Because I think there is this belief, and I know we've talked about this a lot, especially with Greg Sankey, but I think there's this belief that Greg Sankey wants to shrink, that he wants to condense college football. He does not want to do that in any way, shape, or form. Greg Sankey understands business. Greg Sankey understands making money. And I continue to hear people comparing Greg Sankey to everybody but the one person he should be compared to. Roger Goodell, who's the NFL commissioner. That's who Greg Sankey should be compared to. Facts. His job is to make his membership and constituents money. You don't do that by eliminating the Big 12 and the ACC. That doesn't make any sense. Do I think that everybody in the Big 12 is getting in? I don't know that there's an appetite for everybody to get in. I don't know. And when I say appetite, I don't know that everybody in the Big 12 wants to get in. And I talk about this with the G5 all the time. If you look at the bottom half of the ACC, can we really make the argument that those folks want to spend $1 billion to create a Super League? That they want to be liquid to $500 million? Because I'm hearing that's what it's going to take. I don't think there's an appetite in the Big 12 and the ACC to do that top to bottom. I don't. And I don't in the G5, I know there's not. There's not a lot of G5 universities that have a robust enough athletic budget to say, yeah, we'll be liquid at $500 million. How are G5s going to do that? Can you imagine the Dakota schools doing that? Can you imagine $500 million in the Black Hills going out? I can't. I can't imagine Boise. I think Boise has the money, but you know how much money that is in Boise, Idaho? Do you know how much money that is in an ever-changing economy and ecosystem at Fresno State or San Diego State? That's a lot of jack, dude. And my point is, I don't think that Greg Sankey is trying to eliminate those people, but I think what Greg Sankey is doing is saying, hey, if you're a power conference university, you're welcome in the Super League. And remember what we reported on this show yesterday. Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti have spoken about, and it has been talked about throughout their membership, about leaving the NCAA and creating a new football entity, a new football corporation to manage college football. Private money is going to play a significant role in that. And what I've been trying to discern in the conversation I've been trying to have with administrators is, if pick your garden variety Big 12 team, if Utah wants to leave the Big 12 and the NCAA for football, are they going to have to pay an exit fee in the Big 12? I think the answer is no, because their membership's going to go with them to the Super League. It is a football-only operation. I don't believe that basketball gets changed. I was certain people on this show, and I'm not pointing names or pointing anybody out.
I said
you
it.
know, certain people, well, basketball, I don't think is going anywhere.
Okay, basketball is not going anywhere. Here was my point for all the people that lost their mind about what I said about basketball.
And some people lost their mind.
Bro,
over
what
it.
I'm saying about basketball is riddled with opportunity for all of these schools. In basketball, you can get to the tournament with more regularity than you can get to the college football playoff.
Yes.
So anytime there is a question about, hey, how can we leverage basketball to make more money? That question's going to get talked about, and it's going to get talked about at length repeatedly. And if you disagree with that, that's fine. But that's my point.
I don't know that I disagree with that.
Like people are not going to roll up in a room with Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti, who like Brett Yormark or an administrator in the Big 12 or the ACC. They're not going to roll up to that conversation and not bring up all the ways that they need to make money. And so will college basketball go with them to the Super League? No, you're not going to just blow up the whole structure. Like, you're not doing that. It's got a great structure. Will it be expanded? Sure, maybe we could talk about that. But my point is that you're not going to, as a conference, when you're looking at the Super League, like Brett Yormark and company, when they look at this, it's not lost on them that, hey, okay, if our football team is in the Super League, and let's say that Utah somehow in the one-off year won the Super League. Okay, what does that do for the conference? And how can we parlay that success into basketball? Because that's the ultimate year.
I
right?
agree 100%.
This is what we're seeing the SEC do. Hey, the SEC is going to go out, or the Big Ten in this past year.
Big Ten's having a great basketball
is going to
year.
go out, right? And they're going to win the college football playoff. They're going to get all those shares into the conference. And then they're going to roll, I don't know how many it is right at this second, but they're going to roll like 4 or 5 teams at least into the tournament for a deep run, a Sweet 16 run at least.
Which is massive when you look at the Ken Palms of the world, and you look at the people that are talking about bracketology, and you look at just how many teams are when you look at how many teams are going to be in, I think you look at it's shocking that Auburn is probably right now today the number 1 seed. And it's shocking that North Carolina's out. That's where, when we talk about a separation of classes, the ACC can't afford North Carolina to be out in a garden variety year.
No.
That's it. That is a team that wins multiple games. And while I think that you look at teams like Indiana's a bubble team. Indiana is one of the first 4 out. That tells you how good the Big Ten is this year. So we can sit here and we can play games about, who really wins. But if you get 13 SEC teams in, 10 Big Ten teams, if you get 10 Big Ten teams in the tournament, how do you compete with those 2 conferences?
So let me get this right. Those 2 conferences dominated the college football playoff, and now they're dominating the tournament.
Yes. And
so
to the point of what is the Mountain West, probably a 2-bid league this year? What is, like, if we look at the ACC, is the ACC a 4-bid league? It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. But all of this to say, the separation of classes is now not just football, which is what I think your point is.
Yeah.
But when you look at a Super League, it's just going to be football. I'll continue to beat the drum as I have for 2 years. They're going to expand the tournament. They're going to continue to make more money on TV. True TV, which I still have never watched, is going to have more tournament games. But my point is, you're going to have a Super League that's an NFL model. My belief is, and I've heard it from multiple sources in television, the college football championship game is going to be on Saturday night in prime time, and the Super Bowl will be on Sunday. It's going to be a football weekend because the Pro Bowl is a loss leader. And so when we talk about, hey, should Greg Sankey be talking to Roger Goodell? Should the powers that be in the Big Ten and the SEC be liaisoning with the NFL? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Look at the combine right now. That's a huge That's a huge coming together of college football in the NFL. And now in prominence, it's shrinking. Well, maybe we need to find a way to make that not so that people actually do work out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I think you're looking at a space and time where it's win-win for both college and the NFL. It's awfully difficult to argue they should not do it. That's the biggest thing for me is I think it's very difficult to make the argument that they should not have a Super League.
Yeah.
ACC West Coast Commissioner Gumby, perhaps I'll become a Thetan master. Thadian masturbation, you know. Maury Alvarez, the great Floridian. Maury, good to see you. I think only people would boycott a Super League are fans of the G5 schools.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Conundrum. TJ Beck, thanks for the membership. Amen to that. Let's see. Mike Smith, I'm on fire. Help me, Tom Cruise. Okay. Jay McClanahan. Monty, did you see Luka doing push-ups before the game on the floor? Again, Luka shoots from half court, and if he doesn't make it, he has to do push-ups. Dude's been doing push-ups. I think he has a chip on his shoulder from people calling him lazy.
Oh, he's taking it personally. There's no question.
There's ESPN reporting now that they were so concerned about his alcohol and hookah habits and that he was a late night eater. They were so concerned that they could not get him to curb his alcohol and hookah habits. That's why they ultimately traded him.
Yeah.
Because they could not reach him. At the end of the day, if Luka's in shape, and if you think he's on Ozempic or whatever it is, if he's on the needle, hey, that's up to him. I don't know if he is or not. Dance on Oprah's couch to summon Tom Cruise.
Bro, y'all are wilding on this right now.
Mike Smith, good thing about YouTube is you can search for videos on how to use YouTube. Are we still doing that? That awkward guy, Emperor Palpatine. Why are we doing Finding Nemo references? Oh, I'm sorry. Lord of the Ring. Why are we doing Lord of the Ring?
Google me.
That's not Lord of the The Super League, like you guys have said for months, over a year now, every P4 is going to have an opportunity to join. It just depends on if you're willing to cough up the money.
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that. TJ Beck, the flying Oregonian. Did I see that you were a track star? I think either on Instagram or TikTok. Did I see that you're like ripped and shredded? That's disgusting. Gain some weight.
Bro, why are you talking about other dudes? This is a family show, bro.
Bro, TJ Beck is about it. You know, Lamont Tucker, a member of the show.
Wow. Nice.
Oh, look at that. Mike Maples, a member for 21 months. Nice Luka, all my exes live in Texas ad. Yes,
Dude.
Nike put out an ad of Luka. Was that a McLaren? What kind of car was that?
That was a Koenigsegg.
A Koenigsegg.
Yeah.
Luka, they had an ad of a faux Luka changing a license plate on a Koenigsegg from Texas to California, and a purple and gold Koenigsegg. And the music in the background was, all my exes live in Dallas. I think those are the words to the show. Paxton, if you can't figure it out, maybe you
I'm in, baby. I don't know what you do in your free time, bro.
You do.
Do.
Basketball, the new Luka Laker basketball league. Mavs fans are outraged.
Dude.
Mavs fans are not over it. And probably nor should they be. Everyone is outraged.
Yeah,
Where's
bro.
Jake?
That's an obscure one. Let me
Jake?
let's see. Sorry, bro. I don't know where that one is. I got to look for that one.
Can't go on. Everybody done shot their wad, buddy. Exactly right. Maury Alvarez, BY already wants to split football and basketball. He is the model. He is the model for certain. Brett Yormark is the model and I've said, I think Brett Yormark is the guy that has done so much to drive the revenue differential in college athletics. And as he should. I think it is vitally important that revenue is split up and that basketball and football be their own business models. They have their own sellers. They have their own ad branding people. Like it's a different ecosystem. Brett Yormark led the line on that. I think that's a great point, Maury. Jay Bird, they are available at the top of the chat. Paxton, click on them. Stop it.
Everybody
Paxton.
is outraged.
Thank you.
Nobody said boo.
Mike Smith, anyone see the Orgasmo movie?
Again,
Mike?
The energy's different in the afternoon.
The energy is very different.
This is a little different right now.
Field Crew Dirt Dr. Cheese. Wiss makes it an old school prestige. An entire state of Wiss TVs watch them. Okay. Scott Clace, Monty, how many teams do you feel is the right number for the potential Super League? Don't ask me. You
don't need Monty's opinion.
A certain power broker already gave you the answer.
I don't want to dumb down the Southeastern Conference to be part of some Super League notion with 70 teams that some people speculate would happen. They want to be us, and that's on them to figure it out, not on me to bring myself back to earth.
You think he said 70 on accident?
No.
I don't think he did. I think 70.
Gregory knows exactly what he's doing.
Excuse me, it's Lord Sankey.
Yeah.
Darth Sankey, as somebody said earlier. I don't think that was accidental. I really do not. It wouldn't make any sense for them to involve any sports into the Super League. It would be way too complicated and costly. But I don't think and I'm not putting words in your mouth like other things in your, anyway. The point is, I think when you look at basketball, you have to find a way to continue to drive revenue through It is, what did Gloria Navarez say, the commissioner of the Mountain West? It's 20% of your television.
It's 20% of your media rights deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a significant one.
And it can be more than that if you're making a deep run.
Yep. It's fair. Monty, your statement argument about P5 buy-ins would be interesting for schools like Northwestern and Vanderbilt. They have the money. Vanderbilt, Northwestern's going to play for the highest level possible. There's no question about it.
Northwestern passed all the scandals, and I mean, I haven't really heard much out of them.
Are they ever?
Yeah.
Like the question is a Utah State, an Oregon State, a Washington State, a UTEP, right? Who in the G5 can afford it? I think everybody, with some very few exceptions, in the P4 can afford it. Who in the G5 has the chutzpah? Who has the fortitude? I think that's a very small, tiny.
I legit think you can count them on one hand.
I would agree with that. Mike Smith, True TV, LOL, known for making fake scripted reality shows. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. What did you say? Fabaz? Don't know
what that means.
What is
Stay hard.
What does that mean? Febreze? It wouldn't make sense for them to involve any other sports beyond football because it would be way too complicated. Yeah, I agree with you on that. The awkward guy. Monty, you don't think the CFP championship and Super Bowl being back-to-back is bad? I would feel like it's a lot of people who buy tickets to both events. I think that's not as many people as you think.
Yeah, I think that you're underselling how many people want to go to those events. Like, I think that there's massive demand for, the Super Bowl and the college football playoff.
I don't think attendance would suffer in the least.
No.
I think...
And you're assuming that it wouldn't be in the same city.
And having been to both, the Super Bowl is very much a corporate event. And I think that there is no doubt that the Super Bowl being so corporate is a very different feel. Jimmy and his college roommates road trip to Tarrant County to go to the championship. Like, that's who goes. College football is much more about a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
The Super Bowl, one of the reasons I hate the Super Bowl is there's not a lot of fans that are passionate, if your team's in the Super Bowl, if the Chicago Bears, the beloved go to the Super Bowl. I don't want to go to the game. I want to go home and watch it because the NFL in particular is very difficult to watch in person at a game like the Super Bowl. And the halftime thing and the national championship is it's a different thing. I don't think that it runs into each other. John Famlore, good to see you, John. Can they move President's Day up a week so that the Super Bowl can be followed by a national holiday?
Yeah, let's just get in another executive order, okay?
Everybody loves it. 3-bid league, Mountain West Conference. You think the Mountain West gets 3? I think it's going to be very interesting to see. I look at the last 4 in. Like, I think, man, can SMU get in? Can Xavier get in? Boise's got to find a way. I don't know what that looks. Boise's got to find a way, man. You got to find a way. Because I think San Diego State lock solid. Boise's the one where you're like, can they find a way? It'd be huge for the Mountain West if Boise found a way. And
yeah, I
think it's a must. Charles Oliva. Hello, Charles. Good to see you. College football should be done by New Year's. Is that how you make money? I don't know about that. I know it's Star Wars, Mike. I know. Palpatine is Star Wars. I know.
Hell out of here with that.
I'm being a jerk. Star Wars, Monty. Star Wars kid. Yeah, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Not the older ones, but you know. Shouty. Hey, y'all. How you doing? 2 Shakes wants pictures of TJ Beck's pants. Listen, we
Keep it real.
No, don't keep it real. He doesn't want his pants. That's not, do you know?
Macaque.
For those of you who haven't been on the morning show, Jake was sending me pictures of
Anita, Dick, and me.
prodigious packages on the PGA Tour. Unsolicited, I would remind
Biologics.
you. Unsolicited. Hey, Monty,
I
look
just thought you
hey,
would like that picture,
dude. Yeah, you remember Frankenbeans? I got some Frankenbeans for you, boy.
You got to get stroked.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought you'd like that picture, you know. I mean, that's
And then he sends me Morikawa, who ain't got nothing. Hey, Colin, what's that? Oh, it's a thimble.
He's got no class.
nice golf swing, though. Bill.
It never gets old. It never gets old, man. It is. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. It is what it is. Did I see Mr. Preston? Mr. Preston, I don't. Whatever. I thought here it is. Sources. His name is John Cena, oldie but a goodie. His name is
dog.
John Cena.
Yeah, dude.
And his name is John Cena.
I curb rashed a wheel last week on my Jeep, and I'm really not happy about it. Chad After Dark, where am I? It's 9 p.m. Kids and wife are asleep, and I'm finishing a bottle of whiskey. Hell yes.
Well, is that 9 p.m. in Arizona, or where are you know?
Well, I bring up Arizona time. Mike Smith, that John Cena prank call with that woman getting pissy is epic. It's so good. It is so good. It is
Hot and bothered, bro.
It is so good. It is so good. All right, let's move through a little bit. Lamont Tucker, a member for 19 months. Monty, Jake, congratulations on all the success. Thank you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate that. A lot of changes coming to the show, you guys. We have there's some stuff.
You want to explain that?
No, I don't. Brian Gloshin, when the Super League is in place, do you think the stick and ball teams develop more regional leagues? I do. I actually do. I think it's mandatory that you drive revenue through all of your sports. Oh, yes, Gumby, a double, please. Over. I want Jameson Orange, ice ball. Give me some crystal.
I want it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the Advocates gave me the nicest whiskey glass I've ever owned for Christmas this year. Unbelievable. Nacho Libre. My son used to play the John Cena song on his recorder when he was 8. It was and still is hilarious. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
The awkward guy. Strippers on the show? No.
Which is, just kind of weird.
Not strippers on the show. Okay, hour number 2 of the Monty Show presented by Prize Picks. We're back to the 2 or 3 thing. And speaking of fat ass, Luka.
Ass.
I should have stayed off of Luka last night. Luka's mom was looking nice outside of crypto. Am I wrong? Did you see the pictures?
Yes, I did.
She was looking nice.
She was looking nice, dude.
I wanted Kyrie Irving to go off. He did. I had him at 34 and a half. He had 35 points, like dominant performance. I took more. I got Luka Doncic at 38 and a half points. Do you think I won that?
Points, rebounds, and assists? Yeah, I think he did because he had a triple-double, didn't he?
He did. 19, 15, and 12. Won it going away.
Yeah.
And then the ultimate screw you, Marty. I took LeBron James for 4 assists.
Bro, I'm sleeping on Prize Picks. I did not know that they had combine numbers on Prize Picks.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That's epic.
LeBron, I had him at 4. I took more. He had 3.
LeBron James.
That sucked. 2 or 3 last night. Good win on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Open up a new account. Using the promo code Monty. Here's what I've got working tonight. You know that I'm a big NBA second half guy on Prize Picks. Kobe White for 13 and a half second half points, rebounds, and assists. We're going to go more on that. The one that I am wondering about tonight, and maybe I probably shouldn't. The De'Aaron Fox number is, which I think is amazing. He is 1.5 blocks and steals. 1.5 blocks and steals. He's done that 4 straight games.
Yeah.
Don't you take more on that?
Swiper.
Yeah, I think you take more on that. And then a couple points, rebounds, and assists, guys, that I really like. There are some big numbers out in the NBA tonight. Alex Caruso, 12.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
The headband.
That one I'm interested in. I should have taken it. You can't. But then you have Tyler Hero. He's at 28 points, rebounds, and assists. They'll allow me to take 44.5 in a game that is very close in the third quarter. 90-89, Miami over Atlanta. Do I take Tyler Hero there? Yeah, I don't know about that. I like Dyson Daniels a lot more, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think it is. I think it's going to be a very tough night in the NBA. So I tend to stay away from. that. The ones that I really like, De'Aaron Fox, 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists against Houston tonight. Love that one. Amin Thompson, 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's done that 2 of his last 5, so I'm a little hesitant on that one.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a third, and I don't have it right now. I don't have it. Jalen Green, 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That's probably the one I'm going to go with.
Okay, here, I'm going to give you one, and you're going to call me stupid, and it's going to end up winning, because that's what always happens. So,
yes, I would agree.
The Kings goaltender, David Rittich, for more than 21.5 saves. He's had that in 4 of the last 5 games.
You guys, do you see what I deal with?
Do you see what I have to deal with 2 shakes here?
I'm talking
he has
NBA.
No idea what he's talking about.
NHL
he's really an
first
idiot.
Period.
He's really dumb, And it's just stupid.
It's just that you're not good looking.
Right.
Go play intramurals, brother.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that. That's goalie saves is interesting. Jake Allen is 25.5 saves against Colorado. Why do you put me down this rabbit hole of Prize Picks with goaltending?
Yeah.
All right. We'll go more with that. And we're going to flex play a 4-pack, and let's
Why
hope
are you
for the
doing
best.
4-packs?
Because I'm stupid.
Wow.
I'm breaking my own rules.
Yeah,
Tune
one
in
of my
tomorrow
things,
morning. I'll
just-
tell you what I did. That lineup is rock solid. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5. They'll give you 50 more instantly at Prize Picks. Coming up in the next week or so, we're going to start giving away a weekly $50 Amazon gift card for the best win on Prize Picks. The awkward guy, Jakey Two Holes, is prison pretty. Wow.
Okay, see, now we're getting weird
Wow.
with it, dude. We're getting weird with it now.
Wow. Wow. Jeremiah, I wish I could watch this show at work. I wish you could too.
Yeah, but you can't.
Macaque.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just, Gabriel, wasn't Luka involved in a lawsuit, his mother over trademark rights or something? Couldn't tell you. Mike Smith had a pretty tasty apple for a snack a little earlier. Dude, I'm on a run of Honeycrisp, and I got to tell you, it's a Honeycrisp heater like you've never seen before. Mrs. Marty's out of town.
Again.
Mrs. Monty's out of town. And I got to tell you, I'm eating us out of house and home. I'm emo eating. And the apples and bananas, they're dead to rights. It's over. I've got one banana left. And Jake is trying to slurp it down. I'm not happy. Right? So I had the oats this morning. I had a sandwich for lunch. And dude, I had a Honeycrisp apple at 2:00 that was the greatest apple I've ever had. I don't know how Mrs. Monty picks out them apples. See what I did? How about them apples?
Dad. Wow.
But I would just tell you that it was an amazing apple. I'm telling you, sir, the magic is going to happen. RJC man, loaner phone. Okay. Monty, if you can't reach your toes, you will always be a chop-in golfer. Who says you I can't reach my toes?
Yeah, what the hell does that even mean?
Yeah,
What
I don't
is-
know
like,
what that
I don't
means.
understand what that means.
I'm not quite. Am I missing something? Honeycrisp dipped in blue. Stop.
Okay, see,
no.
you ruined
See,
it.
you went too
like,
far now.
Come on, bro.
Why bring up blue cheese? Why do that? Two Shakes has a smack that tattoo on his ass cheek. Do you have a tramp stamp that says smack that?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, trust me, I'm sure.
Verify. Trust but verify. Should we verify on the show?
Yeah, well, we got to do an exam, Monty.
No, we don't. I love those sour crab apples, but they do not like me. Ooh, crab apples. Envy apples greater than Honeycrisp. Okay, maybe I'll have to try that. No, Nacho Libre, it's not. Don't tell lies on this show. Do not slander ranch by saying something like blue cheese.
So no one's going to disrespect me?
No, nobody's going to do that here. Honeycrisp apples are the superior apple. I love them, dude. I used to be an all Granny Smith apple, but I've evolved. Are you calling Monty fat? I think he is. Look, I'm a 5 handicap. I'm a 5 handicap, and I am telling you now, that golf shot's coming because we're getting there. TJ Beck, Calford chose violence with the blue cheese coming. I believe he did. And I don't appreciate it. Blue cheese is just
Disgusting.
so disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting.
All right, let's get into Mel Kiper's mock draft because I'm stunned by this. If you could take any quarterback in the draft, I mean, anyone, who's the first quarterback off the board in your mind? Is it
for me? It's Shedeur. I mean, I don't know how like you watch the tape and you look at how this translate. Like to me, I just don't understand how people are on the Cam Ward train to be the first quarterback off the board based on what he did at Miami. Like I look at Shedeur and I say, this is someone who was winning the game with his mind. He's got the talent, obviously, but the talent paired with the mentals took him to another level. So that's who I'd be taking.
Let's get crazy with Mel Kiper. Said nobody ever. Look at this Mel Kiper mock draft. Are you serious that you've got Abdul Carter number 1? You've got Abdul Carter going number 1. This is the pre-combine mock draft. The quarterback question looms large here at number 1. Could Tennessee trade the pick to a QB-needy team? If you're taking Abdul Carter, you're winning because Abdul Carter's an ass kicker. That kid's going to be a stud. But do you take a defensive end? Do you take an edge guy with the number 1 pick in the draft? When you know Cleveland's taking quarterback at 2.
Dude, Drew Lock.
I'm sorry. Drew Lock at number. I don't know. But then we go down this a little bit. He's got Cam Ward as the number 1 quarterback off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Kiper at ESPN wrote, I have Sanders ranked slightly ahead of Ward in my own rankings, but mock drafts are supposed to represent what the league thinks and what is likely to happen. And right now, Ward is the consensus QB1 in the class. He's the consensus QB1 in the class. And look at Shedeur all the way down to number 7. All the way down to number 7, Shedeur, which Kiper says the Jets might favor drafting a quarterback over trying another veteran. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You're letting ayahuasca ass go. Mr. Immunized.
Right.
You cannot draft a rookie to replace Aaron Rodgers, especially when all your players just gave you an F as an owner.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
You can't do that. Sanders would elevate this New York team that was near the bottom in the league in most passing metrics this past season. The youthful combination of Sanders, Garrett Wilson, and Breece Hall could do damage. I don't even dispute that.
Yeah, I just think that, again, you're looking at a team led by another defensive-minded head coach. And, I don't know, man. If you had a new age, head coach who, like, if Ben Johnson was the coach of the Jets, I'd love this. But I don't love this with Aaron Glenn being your head coach right now, with all due respect to him. Like, you're talking about drafting another rookie, drafting a young guy and bringing him in and having him start. So you're not going to have a QB competition in camp. You're not going to have, it's just going to be presumed that it's Shedeur's job because you drafted him, obviously.
That's right.
And it's just going to be another year of the same thing. And I don't think that the Jets can take that kind of risk. I think the Jets should be out looking to try to, land a more veteran QB that can come in and help them and then draft skill positions.
Some of the other ones that stand out to me here, Travis Hunter to the Giants. Don't the Giants need to take a quarterback? And I love Travis, but are you telling me that you're taking anything but a quarterback at number 3? Will Campbell, bummer. I love that cat at 4. I'm still stuck on Abdul Carter going number 1 to Tennessee.
I don't know how that pans out.
Again,
bro.
I'm not telling you that Abdul Carter, if Phenomenal Hebrew is still here, I'm not telling you that Abdul Carter sucks, but he's a stud. He's a stud. You can't draft an edge number 1. You're going to pay an edge that kind of money? Come on. And then you go down to number 10, Josh Simmons, the Ohio State, going to the beloved.
Yeah.
It's offensive tackle or death in Chicago. How about your guy catching strays the other day from Ben Johnson? Good old Benji.
Dude, Ben Johnson, bro.
Do we have the video of that?
We do not have that.
We don't.
No, I didn't. That
Ben Johnson. I think it would have been copyrighted.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson talked about how he's glad that he's not going to have to deal with a statuesque, like, stand in the pocket, cement-footed quarterback anymore.
The league has transitioned to an athletic,
the guys who don't suck like Jared Goff,
league. Like Jared Goff catching major strays with Ben Johnson.
It is amazing. That is wildly amazing to me. But, Dana Marie. Hello, Dana. Good to see you. Can I get a U.S. Americans drop for me? It's a blonde thing. U.S. Americans?
You want a U.S. Americans drop?
One of the single greatest
U.S. Americans.
beauty pageant moments ever.
U.S. Americans.
Such as in like
U.S. Americans?
U.S. Americans.
I don't have high hopes for the future of U.S. Americans, right? Like, are you out of
it?
What do you do if you become a lifelong
U.S. Americans
international meme sound drop?
Homegirls out here talking about making maps in that,
U.S. Americans
don't know geography and, they need to make better maps.
It's wild to me.
The question was, just so we're all on the same page,
U.S. Americans.
the question was something up the alley of what does the government need to do to improve the education system or whatever, something like that. And she went on this whole deal about maps and
U.S. Americans
and
U.S. Americans.
U.S. Americans, such as in it just is an incredible moment.
Look at Texas A&M about to lose to Vandy. 79-72 Vandy with 41 seconds left in the second quarter. And Memphis. Memphis, a long way to go. Memphis tied with Rice in the second half. There's some games tonight. And Arizona absolutely pounding Utah. 21-11 already, 10 minutes to go in the first. BYU and Arizona coming up in about 5 minutes.
Arizona State,
excuse me. Auburn won already. Michigan State won 58-55. Michigan State held on in that game. Nobody cares about Notre Dame basketball.
No. Okay, can we talk about the Cowboys now?
Screw them. Yes, I would like to talk about the Cowboys. A couple more mock drafts. Mike Smith, mock drafts have Ward as the first QB taken. Wild. Loner phone, if Giants are considering Hunter, sell your pick. I'm done. Seriously, someone needs to talk me off the ledge. Don't talk him off the ledge. Phenomenal Hebrew. Abdul Carter from Pedo State. Yes, he is from Pedo State. Sandusky. I should stop.
Sandusky, you
did nothing to deserve that. Wow, Daddy can't help Sanders too. Oh, Daddy. Wow. What?
Wow.
I'm just surmising what the voice would sound like, right? Daddy's one of the single. I'm a mess because it's almost 8:00. There was a dude at a Walmart. So these a-hole pranksters that walk up behind people. There was a guy at Walmart who he walked up behind this what I think he thought was an old white guy. He was this 15-pound Latino kid. And he did the whole daddy. And the guy turned around and beat wholesale ass. It was amazing. Mike Smith, Sanders would know how to play while scrambling for his life behind a sus line. Yes, he would. Sanders won't drop. Giants would draft him to pair with Neighbors. Can you imagine that?
Agreed.
Mape says I'd be okay with Johnson to the Bay. TJ Beck, the Jets need new ownership and a team move, a complete move, gut, and remodel. Dude, take it down to the studs.
Mm-hmm.
Woody's not dying anytime soon. And did you get the players grade their teams anonymously every year? The Bears got an A-. It's what we do. Good enough to get an A, not good enough to win a game.
You know what I love in the NFL?
Do tell.
The Arizona Cardinals got an F on their report, right? Worst in the league. The report comes out, and not 5 minutes later, they released a statement saying they're doing everything they can do to improve the player experience, which is then quickly followed by everyone posting the fact that their locker room looks like a dumpster fire compared to what most NFL franchises have.
I think State Farm Stadium is a joke. I truly do. Anyway.
Yeah.
Woody Johnson got an F, but the players did say in the second half of the year he listened far more as the season went on. Just not early enough. Mike Smith. I think Will Campbell would be a better guard. A lot of people are saying that instead of tackle. I think a lot of people are saying that. Gabriel. Cleveland Browns O-line is a clown show. Ward would have to run out of the pocket 90% of the time. Don't throw it down the middle of the field from the boundary. Don't do it. Charles Oliva. Raiders would be dumb enough to draft a running back at 6. How good is Ashton Ginty going to be? Is Ginty going to be all pro? Is he going to be?
I don't know, man. I need to see him against NFL talent. It's hard to say because he played all those games in the Mountain West.
It does make you wonder. Phenomenal Hebrew. It would be great to see Tyler Warren from the great Pedo State Pedophilia University drop to my New Orleans Aints. I think he's going to be a hell of a tight end. Oh, Trav is back one more year. Oh, and I can only tell you, Taylor's helping him get through the Super Bowl doldrums. Oh, the pain. Oh, Trav, the pain in your heart is just so. It's me. Hi. I'm the reason you lost. It's me. Taylor Swift is helping Trav
Macaque
deal with the disappointment of being fat and over the hill as a football player. Maybe try blocking. I know it's crazy. It's a Super Bowl. Maybe don't not block, and Kermit the Frog won't get murdered on that play. I could be
And
wrong.
it sucks.
Scamza City is just you're just
bro. Scamza City.
You guys are just terrible. Mike Smith. Well, we might need new globes for the U.S. American blondes and Trumpers. Easy.
U.S. Americans.
Loner phone. Does anyone know where Gulf of America is? I cannot find it. Check Google.
U.S. Americans.
Why are we doing this tonight? Why do we choose violence, bros? I didn't start this. I'm not the one who brought this up.
We did what we did.
Yeah, clearly. Texas 8-4 forever, little brother. Brother. Never doing a night show again. I think once a month we should do a Monty After Dark episode, maybe a preview of what's to come.
Okay, first of all, dude, it would be a Monty After Dark show. Okay.
And it'd be on the Pac-12 network.
Yeah.
Dana, Mike Smith, globes, the earth is flat. Duh.
U.S. Americans.
Somebody sent me a GIF on the old TikTok machine the other day. Asteroids can't hit the earth. They would bounce off because it's flat.
This is fucking America.
And it's a GIF of an asteroid skipping like it's a rock on a pond because it's flat.
Right. So it deflects.
Flat.
It's axes and stuff,
Right.
Like for instance.
Come on, man. Do people really think the earth is flat? They don't.
She's thick.
The earth isn't flat. She's thick. Hey, look. I mean,
Bro, you said the earth is thick.
Jeremiah says, yo, kids really do say the weirdest stuff. I got a chunk of my day is spent in bewilderment at what the hell I just heard. I bet it is. Bro,
like for instance.
I can't be a teacher ever. I'm a terrible parent, let alone a teacher. Bidwell's still running the cards. Yes, they are, Michael Bidwell.
It's embarrassing, dude.
State Farm is a joke of an insurance company.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
Jake has State Farm. Right? Are you a State Farm customer?
I have State Farm, and the pricing is excellent.
Jake from State Farm. Maury Alvarez, are we doing the showroom all the way up until the end of the BYU Arizona State game? No, we're doing it for 28 more minutes. What the Jets need is another Zach Wilson to come in and save the franchise. Yeah, that worked out the first time. Like, what are you? Okay, Nacho Libre. Oh, good. The Cowboys helped K-State by hiring Connor O'Reilly as their own line coach. We need more aggressive OCs. Okay, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys because they're
Smiles and glory holes.
They're America's team, right? They are, they're America's team, and it's been a down sports cycle for Dallas, second only to Chicago. And then Stephen Jones felt the need to speak.
And we're going to be selectively aggressive. We obviously, there's things in this league you have to, you have certain amount of resources they allow you to have. And, we'll look at that. But we're going to try to improve our football team. Not try, we're going to improve our football team. And, we expect to have success next year.
You can't even say it with a straight face.
Selectively aggressive.
Look, daddy boy, you can't look at his face.
And we're going to be selectively aggressive. We obviously, there's
look at that smirk. Look at that smirk.
You have certain amount of resources they allow you to have, and we'll look at that. But we're going to try to improve our football team. Not try. We're going to improve our football team, and
we're going to try. We're going to improve our football team like you improve a McGriddle with some salt
aggressive
in the glory hole.
Smiles
and
glory holes.
How does
Monty? He's talking about oil, not sex.
Dude,
I know
their ability to say dumbass things week after week after week is incredible.
Come on.
So, okay, I need 5 minutes on this. Selectively aggressive is cowboy and knees for we're not going to spend money and we're going to jack this roster up really bad. And then everyone's going to blame Dak. And then we're going to trade Micah.
Hugh Janus.
Yeah, right? Like, you guys are garbo at this, bro. Like,
selectively aggressive.
What does that mean, dude? Like, what? Like,
I'm telling you. I am telling you now.
and I agree. Dude is fighting for his life not to laugh at what he just said.
He seriously is. I am.
What?
They're so screwed.
Selectively aggressive.
They're so screwed.
I can't even with Stephen Jones.
That dude went to San Diego State J.D. Dicker School of Talking.
J.D. Dicker.
Jesus, please help him.
Selectively aggressive.
Gabriel, the Cowboys are screwed. Cowboy fans can't even watch the Mavs because of Nico Harris. Nico Harris! How about Laker fans applauding Nico Harris last night at Crypto? It was so good. Mike Smith, I used to hope that Steven would make a difference after Jerry was gone. Not so much anymore.
Selectively aggressive.
Damn big and little Enos, I'm telling you. That's daddy ball right there.
Who comes up with selectively aggressive? We're going to try to make the team. No, we're not going to try. We're going to make the team better. Like, what? Like, you would think you'd be prepared, dude.
Oh, my God. How do you screw it up this bad in Dallas?
He's got no class.
Right? Like, do you guys buy into like Dallas Cowboys? And there's the old lady. God, dog, dude.
Oh, dear.
Selectively aggressive.
That is so weird to me. I have occasionally standing right here tonight. I have a vision of an old lady. And I can never just ignore it because it's so vivid. That is so bizarre to me. This studio gets weird when it's not light outside.
There's some wild shit going on right
now. I'm telling you. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Dadgummit. My point is, I know. Do you think the Dallas Cowboys are tanking for Arch Manning? Do you think that's what they are doing?
No.
You think they're just this bad?
I think they're this bad. Yeah. I think they're this bad.
Okay.
Legit.
Okay. Field Crew Dirt Dr. Cheese. Worst NFL franchise: Browns, Cowboys, Cardinals, Jets, Jags. Ooh.
Smiles and glory holes.
It's not the Browns.
The Jags. Absolutely the Jags.
It's gotta be that you paid him.
Dude rolling out with Duval and messing it up. Like, come on, dude.
Do I still have that video? That is the worst thing
I don't know.
ever seen.
I don't think we do. I don't know.
Why would I get rid of that? The Duval clip from Cohen is so awkward, dude. Like, it's got to be Jacksonville, right?
Has to be.
At least the Jets spend money. At least, well, the Cardinals don't. But I think it is admirable. It is admirable to me that they put out Kyler Murray workout tapes.
Pick it up. Walk back. Down. One more. Right there. Go. Up.
Look at the face on the next drop. Look at how intense it gets. Do it, Kyler.
Cool. Come on, boy.
Here it comes.
Up.
Get it, Kyler.
Let's go. Up. Forward.
Look at ass to grass squats out of Kyler Murray. That's
Dude, the ACL looks like it's in a great place.
And he's lifting with the defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Selectively aggressive.
And then there's Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, fucking God.
Hi, Aaron. He's coming out of the darkness, guys. They think he wants to play.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
Hey, do I get my get my flowers for Anthony Richardson?
I thought you were going to talk about street clothes being on the bench again.
No, do I get my flowers on that guy?
No.
We had Pier 6 brawls on this show. Whoa. Did you guys see that they're opening up a quarterback competition in Indianapolis? I think that is huge.
Is that still Brissett or is that Flacco?
They're going out to get a veteran. They have not said who it's going to be, but I think it is fascinating. The quarterback carousel that's going to happen in the NFL is going to be off the chain.
Yeah.
And the fact that you are in a position where you don't have the ability to draft a quarterback in Indianapolis of note, and that you are now strapped to Anthony Richardson and you are going to bring in a veteran to try and beat him out. How much? And again, I'm going to go to Cam Ward here. And Miami fan, please don't lose your mind over this. But if you look at Cam Ward, does he not have Anthony Richardson written all over him? Better passer, I think a better understanding of football IQ, but he makes terrible decisions. And Anthony Richardson, everybody fell in love with this. He's got this grenade launcher for an arm. And I'm telling you now, Anthony Richardson will never be an NFL quarterback. Never will he be a franchise quarterback. And it's wild to me that, that they have said we are bringing in a veteran to compete with him.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a haunted house. You're fine. I'm not worried about it. It's just, like, it freaks you out when you see something out of the corner of your eye.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare says the Monty Show turning into Tales from the Crypt. I'm telling you. Loner Phone says Jets are the worst. Oliva says Cardinals have been to a Super Bowl. They have. You guys remember the catch in the corner in the end zone, right? Maury Alvarez, but does Two Holes see Ghost Granny? He does not.
Nah.
He does not. Gabriel, Jags are a disgrace to Florida. Yeah, best thing in Jacksonville is Sawgrass, right?
He's got no class.
Local fans want them moved to Orlando. Ooh, why are everybody texting me?
What are people texting about?
Still the BYU thing. It is remarkable. That was almost 3 hours ago, and I'm still getting BYU texts about the NIL story. Listen, I don't have an axe to grind with BYU.
Well, okay, what's the sentiment? Just the general sentiment.
That it is unfair that we are talking about the BYU NIL story before talking to BYU. We asked for multiple days.
Like, what?
I don't know
Are we supposed to just ignore the story, bro? Is that somehow the expectation now?
Apparently. And the story is, if you haven't heard it, BYU has an NIL scandal in that their players are saying, and granted, the two on the record, Crew Wakely is no longer on the team. He is at Perdon't, right? He transferred Boiler up. He has said, and others have been quoted in articles saying, hey, if you were in the portal in December, they were threatening not to pay you. I can tell you other athletes at BYU who straight up said, I would come on the show, but I'm scared I will lose my NIL money, have said that they were promised performance bonuses and they were never paid. And if they did get paid, they had to fight to get paid. And that Min Kim, the administrator of this the Royal Blue Collective at BYU, this is from the Salt Lake Tribune. I'm not here to pay your rent or your bills. I'm not here for any of that. You guys are entitled, greedy, asking me for money. From a guy, if you go and Google search it, who has a checkered past. He has a checkered background.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at late payments. The collective made December payments only after the transfer portal window closed at the end of the month, Bagna said, former BYU player. Some players speculated the delay was purposeful to incentivize players to stay on the roster that then leave and miss part of their NIL compensation. We've heard very clearly it's because they wanted to pay AJ DeBansa and they wanted to make sure they had the money to do so. But I've asked BYU. Jake has emailed BYU. We have asked Min Kim. We have DM'd him.
Yes.
We have reached out to him in multiple ways. Not a single response. Not a single response. Who did you email at BYU?
I sent in a form right off the NIL portion of their website. They have this thing at the bottom of the website where you can
to the administrator in charge of.
Yeah. Oh, I DM'd. So Min Kim, I DM'd him.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
We've reached out.
He's got
100 different ways.
He's got a link to the show. Like I very explicitly and plainly said, hey, like, this is what we're hearing. This is what's being widely reported in the media. We're here in Salt Lake. We would love for you to come on the show and kind of tell your side of the story with all this and like what actually is happening. So,
and I'm not going to read it word for word, but essentially the what I'm being told is, we can't do that. Well, then call me and tell me off the record. But don't get upset when you don't call or text back. We talk about it on the show, and then you're blowing me up during the show.
And again, I don't feel like we've torched you.
No.
Like, I don't feel like we've said BYU is some terrible institution and people are like, it's a story right now, man. I mean, I understand that on some level, like, you obviously don't want it to get any bigger than it is, but I have to say, man, it doesn't help that we're hearing from one side one thing, and then frankly, I understand that administrators aren't supposed to talk about this stuff.
I get it.
I get that. But you can't tell me there's no way for the institution like to put out a statement
And trust me when I understand why you're not going to talk about NIL, because it only puts more dirty laundry into the ethos. I totally
I respect that, man. Like,
sources at BYU have called me about a gazillion other stories. And when, again, the best example I can use is, hey, this player won this award. Can you mention it? Yeah, I'm happy to do it. But I'm also happy to say we called you and texted you and emailed you and nobody got back to us. Your silence was the answer. As you guys all hit the like button on the Monty Show. All right, a couple minutes left. Can we talk about flying right now?
This story is juicy.
Bros, did you guys see this at Midway Airport in Chicago? I don't personally fly into Midway Airport. I don't enjoy it. It is a smaller airport on the south side of Chicago where you don't have a whole lot of room to operate. A Southwest jet, because Southwest only flies into Midway Airport in Chicago. They do not fly into O'Hare, which is out on the west side. They only fly into Midway Airport. There was a private jet on the runway when a Southwest heavy, a Boeing, was coming in for a landing. And the private jet ignored tower instructions. And it almost was a damn near disaster.
Turn left on runway 4 left, cross runway 31 left, and hold short on runway 31 center.
Right, left on 4 left, cross 22 or 13 center, flex jet 560.
Exit 560 negative. Cross runway 31 left, hold short runway 31 center.
Cross 31 left, hold short 31 center, flex jet 560.
Southwest 2504 going around.
2504, roger that, climb maintain 3000.
Flex jet 560, hold your position there.
2504 up to 3000. Hold position, flex jet 560.
Flex jet 560, continue across the hold short of hotel.
Cross hold short hotel, flex jet 560.
Flex jet 560, your instructions are to hold short of runway 31 center.
So 2504, when able, turn left heading 220.
Left heading 220, Southwest 2504. Flex jet 560, hold right there, sir. Don't move.
Hold position 560.
That's Tower Southwest 2504. How'd that happen?
Bro.
Dude, how close was that? Because a guy in a private jet can't follow instructions. How close was that? I flew last weekend, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not a white knuckle flyer. I was nervous on takeoff and landing. And my wife is flying this week. It makes me nervous. It is, I'm flying, dude. Anyway, I'm flying a lot in the next 2 months. Like, I'm flying a lot. And it's something to be, does it not make you nervous at all?
Like I always say, I think it's situational. So like if you're flying into one of the busiest airports in the world, that's obviously, you're going to be a little more, so like, yeah, we're, flying into O'Hare is probably, time of day, time of year. You got to take all those things into consideration. I do think one of the things that most people aren't talking about in this video is is the fact that the casual nature is probably not the perfect way to describe it, but just how calm and cool and collected the Southwest pilot was, able to identify what's in front of him and just do it, I think speaks to the training that the FAA makes you go through to be able to fly. And I think that for me as a passenger is what makes me feel better.
That's the guy in the cockpit is what makes me feel better. And
Stay hard.
the cockpit is what you're relying on, because I think when we get into these situations where there's these big incidents, I need an experienced pilot. It's frustrating to me that the pilot that flipped over that Delta regional in Toronto was fresh out of flight school. That's why I don't love flying regional jets. I don't like it at all. And yeah, Brandon, Midway is a disaster even without other issues, which is why, but again, I don't fly Southwest Airlines. I don't ride with you dirty commoners. You guys know that. No, one of the reasons I don't fly Southwest is because they fly into a lot of airports like that. And I don't have that problem with Delta.
But here's the thing though. I don't think that this is a Southwest issue. This is a private jet pilot didn't listen to what he was supposed to do. He was very plainly told, stop short of runway 31. This is not a difficult request or ask. So this is not hey, pilots can't land the plane. This is you didn't listen to what you were told to do.
And I agree with that. Yeah. I don't think this is a situation where we're saying, well, the pilot I think the Southwest guy saved the whole situation.
100%.
Right? But now policies in place, like you're in full engine when you're landing, you are fully ready to go. If you got to touch and go, those engines are ready to do that. Mm-hmm. You'll notice when they're on the ground and they've landed, they're in full reverse thrust, right? Like they're ready to rock and roll in those situations. That doesn't make me feel better about the situation with that private jet. And I'm not saying Southwest did anything wrong.
Right.
By any stretch. I don't want to fly into Midway Airport. I do not want to fly into Midway Airport for no way, no how. I'm not flying into Midway Airport. I'm just not interested in playing that game. And listen to this.
Turn left on runway 4 left. Cross runway 31 left. And hold short of runway 31 center.
Right, left on 4 left. Cross 22 or 13 center. Flex jet 560.
Should 560 negative. Cross runway 31 left.
Negative.
Hold short runway 31 center.
Cross 31 left. Hold short 31 center. Flex jet 560.
Look at that.
I thought it was 2504 going around.
2504, Roger, that's coming, maintain 3000.
Oh my God.
Flexion 560, hold your position 2504 up to 3000.
Flexion 560.
Flexion 560,
can you
continue
guys
across the hold short of hotel.
How do you screw that up?
I'll also say the Boeing 737 has one of the best safety records ever for commercial aircraft. So another time the 737 came in clutch.
I'm probably making too much out of it. TJ Beck, private jet was completely at fault. Runway incursion happened more than you think, honestly. Rarely do they bend metal. Thankfully, TJ,
and you
rarely.
Understand, by numbers wise, again, this is what I always point out with air travel. The sheer numbers say that you're never going to be involved in any of this. That's what the numbers say. But unfortunately, things like this do happen. And again, that's why we have training, man.
I just look at how does a Black Hawk fly into a plane?
Yeah, that is unexplainable.
It's these inexplicable incidents that I just struggle to get over. I do, TJ or Mike Smith. It used to be the worst part of flying was waiting in or moving through the airport. Now it's getting dicey in the air. That's what I'm saying. And I'm somebody who loves flying. I love it. 4 to 6 years ago, there was a big push to have all pilots at their biannual review ground procedures in regard to runway incursions. Dude, man. Yeah, I don't know. RJ Loner phone. Yeah, but I don't think the FAA reductions had anything to do with it. I think this was an idiot pilot in a private jet. Gotta go Greyhound. No. Got guys farting up on that bus. I ain't doing that. Could have been another disaster. So great of the Southwest pilot to be fully aware and pivot. Yes. I blame Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and Bruce Dickinson for making others think they can fly a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget about, what was the Cy Young pitcher who crashed his glider in the ocean and died? Oh, my God. The Philadelphia Philly. Oh, my Doc. Oh, my.
Roy Halladay.
Roy Halladay. Doc Halladay. Thank you. Gabriel, it wouldn't surprise me if the FAA changes some regulations and makes them even stricter. I hope they do. Amtrak was really bad there for a time. Do not know if they still have issues. Why is it that we can train across Europe and not really have any issues?
Like, it's valued. They put money into it.
I'm going to Paris, and then we're taking a tram. We're going from Paris by train, essentially up to Brussels. Like, I have no problem with that, right? Delta was amazing coming back from the Caribbean to Atlanta. Yeah, Delta's great. I fly it all the time. But Monty, Delta just flipped a jet. Yeah, a rookie pilot. But it's not, it's got Delta paint on it. But let's understand that's a regional carrier operated by whoever that was, right? You go through San Juan Airport. That was a trip. Never been. Would love to. My 14-year-old daughter flies out tomorrow, headed to Dallas Jerry World for Dallas Cowboys training camp. I'm scared shirtless.
She'll be all right.
Okay. Dallas is a good airport. Find a military guy to let you hitch a ride on a C-130. Maybe they'd need, yeah. I'd love to ghost ride an AC-130.
Dude.
Me too. TJ Beck. Believe me, Monty, the private jet pilot is being called on the carpet right now by the FAA. He's going to have a letter in his file and possibly worse. Southwest pilot did a good job. Yeah. I totally agree. That he did. Bullet train all day. John Hamm, Monty is right. It had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Asia and Europe with great trains. USA apparently not smart enough to make them. We don't value it.
No, we just we don't invest in the infrastructure for it.
Yeah. Maury Alvarez, when I come out to Utah later this year, I'll be driving. A lot of people are saying that. So I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting story to see that, let's to see how that turned out. Real quick before we get out of here, let's look at Prize Picks. How is my Prize Picks doing? Kobe White. Yes, sir. 6:55 to go. Oh, he's got 9 of the 13.5 I need. Jalen Green's already got 2 of the 32.5. Mark it down.
Yeah.
Mark it down. David Riddich hasn't made a save yet.
Game hasn't started yet.
That's not the point. He still hasn't made a save. You better hope that cashes. You had better hope that cashes. My question is, why are all these close calls happening now, regardless of Donnie and firings is interesting? I don't know. Can't blame the Blackhawk on the Potomac on Donnie. Like, it's not his fault.
No.
Listen, I don't care who you voted for. Just because Donald Trump took a dump last night doesn't mean it's his fault that, whatever happened. Right? Like, I don't know why that pilot chose to not follow instructions.
Yeah.
Right? But I think TJ's right. He's in a lot of trouble today. Blame it on the asteroid. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. YR4,
Wanting to drive my souped-up Subi with glass packs through state parks. Boner time.
Well, at least you're not going to die doing that.
Boner time, Mike Smith. Packs. He said glass packs. Which is fantastic. There you have it. The Monty Show presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Thanks for spending time with us tonight. Please hit the like button on your way out the door. Did we get to 100? We are at 93. Come on, you hyenas. 7 more. Come on. Can we get 7 more right now? Let these old eyes gaze upon 100 likes on the show. You guys, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. If you're listening on TikTok, X, Facebook, Spotify, coming over to the Monty Show on YouTube. Until tomorrow morning, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.